Hi, authors. Happy New Year. I just finished a power hour with an author, and it was a really interesting conversation about the use of AI and LLMs in publishing. And I wanted to just come on here and share what we had discussed in case it's useful for anybody else who might be um, deciding to use AI in their works. Now, just to be clear, a power hour is an author that we don't work with full time. They're just somebody who comes in and looks for publishing advice on their manuscript based on what they've done thus far. So it's not for me to comment on the approach of the author. It's just for me to comment on what they can do to make their book the best version of itself. So that's the preface of what we do in a power hour. Now, the conversation was very cool because the author was sharing that because of their trying to get the book to market in a certain length of time and they're trying to move forwards with it quite quickly, they had used AI, they had used several LLMs, and they'd used it for their graphics in their book as well. And we had to talk about how they're going to address using AI in their publication because you do have to acknowledge it. Amazon asks for that level of acknowledgement. And I do think it's an important thing to acknowledge in a publication because um, it adds legitimacy or delegitimizes something in some cases. But in many cases, if you have to acknowledge it legally, especially on Amazon. So with that table set there, we talked about like how is she this going to be acknowledged? Is she going to write a small disclaimer in fine print saying, AI was used to help with the research and citations, or to help write the material, or the graphics were done by AI, and just kind of leave it as a coy, frankly lazy disclaimer about, yeah, I used it, but like don't look too carefully, it's okay. um my suggestion is actually for if you have to be using AI in your writing and your publication process, would to be actually to get ahead of it and be assertive about it. Meaning, um, to tell the reader what your experience and how you used AI, and allow the reader to therefore find more credibility in um, the more you share. Such as this author is a great example. She had said, so she used many platforms to help find the research and what she was looking to pull together. She used many AI platforms. And she then said she was blown away by how often AI was hallucinating with its answers and how different the hallucinations were. So she then had to go and double check, triple check all of the links, the citations, the references, the quotes, and make sure that they were actually accurate and the websites were real websites and the people were real people. She had to go and do all of that additional work to make sure that her book was going to be taken seriously. And my suggestion for her is to actually lean into that. So instead of that lazy throwaway, some AI was used in the generation of this publication, rather write it in a preface or and you can have at the start of your book, you can have a note about AI and LLMs. And it can be an author's note sharing that full experience, being like, this is how I approached my writing. This is how I approached the research using these platforms. This is how often I found hallucinations. And this is what I did to ensure that the material that you are about to consume in this book is legitimate, it is researched, and it is valid. And I believe that in doing that, in saying something that outright and that transparently will allow the readers to settle down and will feel like this work is legitimate because you have acknowledged um, just the truth. And it will show that you've done a lot of work to make sure that this book is the truth and does have valid information in it. So that is how I would suggest if anyone is watching this video and wondering how to address AI in publication, I would say be robust, be thoughtful, and be diligent about it. And don't be lazy, don't be coy, because AI is not good enough yet for readers to not be able to tell the difference. Or I hope readers can tell the difference. So I always want authors to be credible. I want the industry to be to have integrity around AI. And I think that when you are trying to be, a thoughtful person in writing and you're trying to be a legitimate author, I do believe that being honest about your use of it is going to help with that legitimacy and people taking you seriously. Anyways, I hope that's helpful. And I've got plenty more to say about lots of things, but that's that for today. Uh, I hope I hope to talk to you all soon.